So yes, dear students, today we'll discuss about how to solve numerical problems in physics. Many times the questions are asked about the numerical problems, why the numerical problems are necessary, like that. Uh, but I want to say that the subject physics can be 100% understood with solving the numerical problems only. The numerical problems creates interest in physics because we learn physics concepts through solving the numerical problems. It increases the confidence of learning the subject, and it encourages for further learning of the subject. Numerical problems are asked in university examination and various competitive examinations. Therefore, one cannot skip the numerical problems from physics. Many students prepare only theory part, but they don't practice numerical problems. They think that it is a waste of time, but theory can be prepared with 100% by solving numerical problems only, because our concepts become very clear by solving the numerical problems. So therefore, in today's lecture, we will discuss the importance of numerical problems, and we will learn some easy tricks or say steps how to solve the numerical problems. And if the time permits, we will discuss one or two examples. So let us start our presentation. So how to solve numerical problems in physics? So numerical problems in physics play an important role while understanding the concepts in physics. We understand the theory by relating the physical quantities through concepts, and we derive expressions using standard notations using logical concepts. The laws of physics, equations, and formulae have different aspects that can only be understood by solving as many physics problems as possible. Numerical problems in physics are one of the most challenging tasks. Even though I am talking it as a most challenging task, if you practice it, so it becomes easy. It will become a easy task. We need to clear our concepts, formula, units, and significant figures, errors, numerical computing, conversions, calculations. So all these are the required points for the numerical problems. You need to have clear concepts. You need to derive, or say you need to remember a formula. You should know the units and physical quantities. You should know the significant figures. You should know the errors and numerical computing you require, and you require conversions and calculations are required. Okay. Solving problems with confidence is important to get success in different exams. As I said, it requires good understanding of different topics and their practical aspects. Numerical computing means the algebra, geometry, trigonometry. We make use of calculations like say addition, subtraction, multiplication, fraction, percentage, like that. Okay. We make use of geometry. Okay. Geometry means say Pythagoras theorem, like that. Or say we make use of trigonometry, sine theta, cos theta, vectors, x component, y component, horizontal component, vertical component, like that. We make use of numerical integration. We make use of statistics and the differential equations. So all these subjects are involved, or say are utilized in solving numerical problems along with the concepts of physics. So here to determine the units of quantity you are trying to find, and the quantities you have, so you should make the list, or say you should just check it out, what is the quantity given and what is the quantity to be determined. And we use the units, that is we use the SI system only, that is meter, kilogram, seconds, charge, and so on. So we don't use CGS or say any other units. We just use the SI system, International System of Standard Units only. If the quantities are given in CGS system, that will be converted into the SI system. So here we learn the concepts. We just checking out the steps, understand and visualize the problem. Visualization is very important for the solution of the problem. Identify the principles and concepts involved in the problem. So you need to find out the problem, or say what is asked, that is to be understood. Draw a suitable diagram. As I said, visualization is very important. If visualization is clear, then you need to draw a simple diagram that will help you to find out the required quantities. Make a complete list of all data and quantities asked in the question. We need to have the conversions. If some number is given, that is to be converted into some in powers of 10, that conversion is required. Or say if you want to convert centimeter into meter, that conversion is required. And you need to have the formula, so that you can put the data into that formula and to find the solution. And you need to have the calculative skills, calculations. Most of the exams, university exams, calculators are allowed. Non-programmable calculators are allowed, so you can make use of calculator. And further, if you just practice the solved problems, that means you have been provided the solved examples, you just solve yourself and find the solution. Okay, if the solution matches, then it's okay, that can be practiced. And then practice the exercise where solution is not given, only answer is given, then practice this. First you have to practice the solved examples where the complete solution is given, and then you can practice with the exercise. So these are the conversion table. I have listed it. So 10 to the power minus means minus 1 means deci. Okay, 10 to the power minus 2 means centimeter, we can say millimeter, that we know. 10 to the power minus 3, it is denoted by m. These are the symbols list. Okay, so that we know, we make use of this deci, centi, milli, and we make use of this micro. Okay, micrometer means 10 to the power minus 6. Nano, we may use nano, 10 to the power minus 9. This is pico. We make use of this pico in calculations for the capacitors. Okay, femto, we rarely use the other data like this. Okay, but this is to be remembered. These are the symbols and these are the prefixes. Okay, then further, 10 to the power 2 is 100 hecto, 10 to the power 3 is kilo, 10 to the power 6 is mega m, and 10 to the power 9 is giga, like that. So we have to remember these things. Almost everybody knows this. Then while solving the problem, you make use of some logarithmic rules. We know that 10 to the power a into 10 to the power b is 10 to the power a plus b. We make use of this formula, and 10 to the power a upon 10 to the power b is equal to 10 to the power a minus b. 10 to the power a into 10 to the power c upon 10 to the power b is equal to 10 to the power a plus c minus b. And further, 10 to the power a into 10 to the power c upon 10 to the power b into 10 to the power d is 10 to the power a plus c minus b and minus d. So these formulae we are making use. So let us discuss one of the examples. Okay. So here calculate the force of gravitation between two masses 15-meter apart. The masses are 10,500 kg and 1,250 kg. So this is the simple problem on the gravitation chapter. So the universal gravitational constant is given, G is equal to 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. So let us solve this problem. Okay. So given data is M1 is given as 10,500 kg, M2 is given as 1250 kg. Radius or say distance between two masses is given as 15 meter, and G is given as universal gravitational constant 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. So for the simplicity, we have taken the simple examples where all the units are standard. Okay, so we don't have to convert it into SI units. Already the data is given in SI units. The formula we make use of is force, gravitational force is G m1 m2 upon r square. If you put the data, okay, data is already in SI units. If you put this data in the formula, it will look like this. And then what will you do? You just convert this into a simple formula. So we make this as 1.05 into 10 to the power 4, and we write this as 1.25 into 10 to the power 3. Why it is necessary? Because we have to make this calculation simple. We have to convert this into simple numbers so that the calculation becomes easy. So for that purpose, yes, I have written it here as 1.05 into 10 to the power 4 is here, and 1.25 into 10 to the power 3, and it was already 10 to the power 11 was there with 6.67. So we can use now here 10 to the power 4 into 10 to the power 3 into 10 to the power 11. So that can be written as 10 to the power say 7 minus 11 is minus 4. Okay, and we have now this simple numbers where calculation becomes easy. Okay, so here I have converted 10500 as 1.05 into 10 to the power 4, and then I have written 1250 as 1.25 into 10 to the power 3. So the shift of decimal towards left will be converted as, or say written as 1.25 into 10 to the power 3. Okay, so this rule is to be remembered. Then we just write now like this in a simple way. Now these are the simple numbers where calculation can be easy. Now we make use of calculator here and calculate the quantity. So that will be, so by using calculator, 6.67 into 1.05 into 1.25 divided by 15, again divided by 15. So while using calculator, even though here it looks 15 into 15, but while calculating here it looks 15 into 15. While using calculator, this number gives the quantity, again it should be divided by this 15. So the final answer is 0.0389 into 10 to the power minus 4, and that is to be converted into a standard form. That will be equal to, yes, 0.0389 can be written as 3 into 3.89 into 10 to the power minus 2, and 10 to the power minus 2 and 10 to the power minus 4 becomes 10 to the power minus 6. So the final answer will be like this. So 3.89 into 10 to the power minus 6 Newton is the answer, final answer. So these are the simple steps. to be followed to solve the numerical problem with accuracy. So let us discuss another example from electrostatics. A charge of Q minus 4 into 10 to the power minus 6 coulomb, it should be coulomb, okay, is placed in an electric field and experiences a force of 5.5 Newton. E means east direction is given. Okay, what is the magnitude and direction of electric field at a point where the Q is located? So what is given? A charge is given which is a negative charge and it is experiencing a force of 5.5 Newton. So the minus Q charge is experiencing a force of 5.5 Newton. The force is positive, means the charge Q is experiencing a repulsive force. And when repulsive force is possible? When it is in the electric field of minus charge. So here, so this is the Coulomb's law. The force is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 Q1 Q2 upon R square Newton, and 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 is equal to 9 into 10 to the power 9 Newton meter square per Coulomb square. So these are the concepts required. Now the electric field intensity due to charge Q1 is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 Q1 upon R square Newton per Coulomb. This is nothing but the force per unit charge. Force acting on a unit charge is nothing but the electric field intensity. So here we have been provided a charge Q1 and it it is experiencing a force of 5.5 Newton. Okay, so yes, so here our given charge is say Q2, our given charge is considered as a say Q2, so it is experiencing a repulsive force in east direction. So there's this should be a negative charge, so that this minus Q2 charge will experience a repulsive force in east direction. So here the given data Q2 is equal to this much, minus 4 into 10 to the power minus 6, and force is given as 5.5 Newton in east direction. So here I use the notation E as a east, okay, because E is already utilized as a intensity, so I used to write it as a east direction. So magnitude is given and direction is given. So the formula, our formula is now very simple. The intensity is nothing but the force per unit charge, or say force upon charge, and that will be equal to F upon Q. So F is given and Q2 is given. So therefore the intensity will be minus 1.375 into 10 to the power 6 Newton per Coulomb, and its direction will be along the west direction. So intensity, because the intensity of the electric field is due to the minus Q1 charge, and this Q1 charge is, as it is minus, it should be acting like this. Okay, or say minus sign indicates that it is opposite to that of the force acting on Q2, because the force acting on Q2 is a repulsive force. Okay, so all these concepts are now clear, but the numerically the problem was simple. Okay, numerically the problem was simple, but the concepts are now very clear. So by solving the numerical problem, the concepts becomes clear. Okay, so let us discuss few more problems based upon my simple steps. Let us discuss that in the next classes.